Thank you very much, and I thank the speakers that preceded me. The topic of our discussion today is nearshoring, but we have to understand where this is coming from, how this came about, the nearshoring, friendly shoring, all this reshoring thing. From my observation, what's happening now is coming from the geopolitical competition, basically. The West and the rest. The West thought globalization is bringing fruits to everyone. But after a few decades, maybe 3-4 decades of globalization, they realized that there is deindustrialization of Europe and the United States. The industry had moved east and settled in China, Korea, and other countries in the east. So that they realized that they are losing ground, and they have part of the rise of the right in Europe and in the United States is coming from this reason. So the West was thinking that by admitting China to the WTO and opening the markets, there will be richness in China, middle class, and then there will happen a democratization process in China. This was an illusion. It did not happen. So all their bets fell apart. So they started to retrack the globalization again. And we are seeing now a deglobalization. And as the globalization was led by the West, the deglobalization also is led by the West. The deglobalization started the process of re-engineering the global value chain. The global value chain has shifted from the West to the East. Now it is going to re-engineer under this re-engineering came the terminology nearshoring that the EU does not recognize or does not use, but also friendly shoring, that they want countries that are friendly to the West to move the production there. And also some people like President Trump at one point in time was thinking of reshoring, inviting all the American multinationals to go back to produce in the United States. This process is really opened a window for countries like Egypt, and this is where the benefit of the reshoring. So I don't want to expand more at the opening remarks on this, and then we'll talk about how we can benefit from export and the investment and this in the coming round. Before I do that, I have to say I'm a little disappointed from Blanca because the textile is not one of the 3 sectors you mentioned. And I have to disagree with you. Otherwise, I will find another job. So I think that what you mentioned is very important. And I think at one point in time, Abla mentioned this study for me. So we'll really look into it seriously. I think it's very important to see what we can do. We have a lot of issues, and this panel and the previous panels alluded to it. The fact that the government is present in the economy more than enough is really a problem. And we don't see the end of that, at least, and we don't know when, despite the announced policies. But having mentioned that, we should not just sit still. At Egyptian Exporters Association, we looked at the target the government gave us to achieve to increase our exports from $36 billion non-oil exports to 145 billion. So when we looked at what we are producing, industrial and agriculture and mining and this and that, so we realized that this target of $145 billion is not achievable because we don't have enough production. So we really thought of what to do. So we came up with an initiative, we call it Invest for Exports. We discussed this with Gafi, and we had a memorandum of understanding, and we started really looking to invite investment that are dedicated to exports. Obviously, what we were talking about, the re-engineering of the global value chain, helps very much in this. Because we see now a lot of interest in investment in Egypt. It's not only from Europe, it's from Europe, from China, from even India, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Vietnam, you name it. Everybody has a potential, see a potential in Egypt to invest for exports. But we still have a major issue, a major obstacle here, which lack of industrial parks, lack of industrial land. And the more difficult that we need to overcome, not only allocating the land, but providing the land with utilities. So we came up with another initiative. We called it the Green Corridor for Industrial Parks. We presented this initiative to the government and the new government. They were very happy with it, but we are yet to see a serious movement to make it happen. So with those two initiatives that we, as the first initiative, Invest for Exports, we did it jointly with Gafi. And we are providing a lot of support now for investors that want to come to invest in Egypt with a view to exports, not to take advantage of the 100 million consumer in the market. The other initiative, we proposed it together with the Federation of, is this something for me?
No, no.
Okay. I thought I said something wrong.
No, somebody's trying to enter the Zoom call.
Is anybody listening to what I'm saying? Okay, so the other initiative, the Green Corridor for Industrial Parks, is really presented to the government as an initiative between Expolink and the Federation of Egyptian Industries. And obviously, it was just a concept paper, but there to flesh it up, it takes a lot of work. And that work has to be jointly between us and the government. The third initiative, really, that I'm very happy with what Nicolaus said, Commissioner for the Mediterranean, Suika, you mentioned. What's his nationality? It's a lady. Oh, great, even better. I think we had a good initiative and cooperation with the EU when we signed the association agreement called the Industrial Modernization Program. And I think we need another one. We call it greening the industry. Instead of upgrading the industry, we need now your support to green the industry. Particularly that your trade policy and what you invented in the EU, the CPAM. The CPAM is a non-tariff trade barrier, basically, using the environment and the carbon and emission and all the good causes to hinder the exports of the global South. So we need, as an association, we have an association. You said we alleviated the relationship to a strategic partnership now between the EU and Egypt. I think it is time to adopt a new program for greening the industry. I mentioned this to Ambassador Roger Berger a while ago, and I mentioned it to the government, but I think we need to take it more seriously, and I'll be happy to discuss with you this, Nicolaus, at a later stage. So those three initiatives, if we put them together, I think they can make a big difference, because without investment, we will not have production. And without industrial parks that are sustainable and green, we will not have the production or the investment to produce something to export. And without greening the industry, we will always face a problem. So those three initiatives compound, I think it can make a difference in the future. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I'll start with the issue that of the CBAM. Dr. Mahmoud Muhyiddin explained the implications, the negative implication of that program on Egypt and the other global South countries. We have actually, before you came on, Dr. Mahmoud, I proposed something that could be present a mitigation of the negative impact of the CBAM legislation in EU, which is create a fund to green the industry, similar to the fund that to modernize the industry, the IMSE, and now we can say IG, industrial greening program. I think this is a proposal that I have made as a Federation of Egyptian Industry and as Egyptian Exporters Association a few times. But our government did not jump on it, and the EU gave us the deaf ear. So we need to talk about this. The other point that I want to raise, which is the Bangladesh experience. My friend Nicolaus had mentioned. Luckily, the Bangladesh government listened to the private sector. They might also listen to the Egyptian private sector, but to listen here is very difficult. But the issue actually is not only that. The Bangladesh opened, when I was appointed in our embassy in Washington in 1985, I'm sorry, 1985. Bangladesh used to export at that time $300 million worth of apparel to the United States. Egypt exports was less than 1 million. And we have cotton, we have mahalla, we have talat harb, we have everything that you can talk about. However, we were very minute compared to Bangladesh. That did not have anything except, labor. And Korean investment. Korean investment is what made Bangladesh. As a matter of fact, Korean investment made Bangladesh, made Vietnam, and now in the process of making Uzbekistan. And I was in Uzbekistan in a couple of weeks, and I saw what they are making there. And I introduced the guy who's making all this, the Korean guy, to our ex-minister of investment, but there was nothing, no follow-up. But I think the key now is to attract the investment. I just want to comment also on the IFC point, which I don't know where the IFC came with this issue. The public sector, the state-owned companies are only in the upstream. But the downstream, the garment making, the house, home textile is 99.9% in the hands of the private sector. So why the IFC is obsessed with this issue? I have had this discussion with the IFC for years, but they hired someone from England who wrote a report, and the recommendation that he said, don't help IFC, don't help the private sector in textile in Egypt because of the government intervention. I think he was wrong. But the IFC got fixated on that. The guy passed away, by the way, but his recommendation is still available. Another point is some of the floor here mentioned that they want to export and they don't know how. If anyone wants a recommendation or advice on this, please contact Engineer Ahmed Taha, as the Managing Director of Egyptian Exporters Association, and we do that as part of the core business of our job. I think I covered all what I wanted to say. The only thing, I have a proposal for you, Nicolaus, regarding what we call is audit fatigue. I think the EU would do a great favor to the global South if you're associated. How we solve this issue? Do we solve this issue by convincing our buyers to get together and choose an entity to do the audit only once, and everybody accepts it? Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, Macy's, Costco, everybody is accepting Better Work audit. So we get audited by Better Work, and that applies to everybody. So if there is an association for imports of the seeds and whatever, I think this association can appoint a third party to do the audit, and that kills the issue of audit fatigue.
And
we can apply this to all other industries. The Association of Importers can appoint someone and then unify the auditing mechanism, and then we solve it. Thank you.